high vibrations are literally like medicine. And so when you know this, just when you have this in your mind, then you can essentially be healing like 24/7. When you know that the vibrations around you can either be like a medicine or they can be the opposite, like a poison, then you can choose what's around you. You can choose the vibrations that serve you. And then you can be essentially healing, like healing your body, healing your trauma, healing your past, raising your vibration, healing your everything, like 24/7. Just when you know this, that vibration is literally medicine, like high vibrations are medicine that can heal you. So like let's say you go out, right? You're gonna go out to an event. And the event that you choose, let's say it's like a concert, right? But it's a death metal concert. And so the vibrations there, like they're fairly dark, you know? And that will can throw you off depending on where you are in your vibratory levels or your vibratory journey. It can kind of throw you off and almost kind of like poison you, depending on the event that you go to, or the place that you visit, the people you interact with. Low vibrations can kind of like, depending on how boundaried you are and protected and regulated within your own vibratory system, you can kind of set up a shield to block yourself from these low vibrations. But depending on how kind of regulated and protected you are, like this stuff, it can get to you, right? It can get to these low vibrations. So on the other hand, if you go to an event that's like, it's like a meditation circle or something, that's pretty high. That's a pretty high vibration. And so that's literally like medicine. That's like healing you. It's a healing place that you go to, a healing event. And that's like medicine, essentially. And so then these high vibrations, they're everywhere around us, just as low vibrations are. They're everywhere around us. So just when you know this, then you can know where to find them. You can learn where to find the high vibrations. Like you might choose to go to the beach or the forest on your holiday, or on your weekend, on your days off. You might choose to go down to the beach and just hang out there, maybe meditate there. You might choose to go to the forest and take a nice stroll, rather than go downtown where there's all sorts of cars honking and capitalism, consumerism. The vibrations can be medicine, or they can be like a poison almost. And so then, let's talk about food here too, right? A high vibration food is literally medicine that you're putting into your body. Like, fruit, the kind of life, like living foods, I like to call them, rather than dead foods. Yeah, your fruit, your veggies, that kind of thing. A very high vibration, whereas like you take a processed slice of bread, or like a burger bun, or McDonald's fries or something, like that's just dead food. That's dead stuff, and that's like really low down here. And so that's like, it's almost like poison. It's poison to your body. It's poison to your own vibrations, to your own personal frequency. And so this medicine, it's all around us, these high vibrations. And we can start looking for what's out there to serve us. What's out there that will heal us and essentially like be medicine to our souls. This stuff it's everywhere, these high vibrations. We just need to know where to find it and also be on the same frequency level and be ready for this stuff, to receive these healings. Music is another thing too, right? Like I was talking about death metal, or rap music. A lot of rap music is very, it's heavy. It's heavy. It talks about drugs, sex, money, violence, all that stuff. If you're pumping that into your brain, it's getting to you, If you're singing along, you're bumping your head. I used to do this, and I used to listen to rap music in grade 6, grade 7, all the way up until grade 11 or 12, when I realized, hey, what's going on here? What am I pumping into my ears, right? And then I shifted to more positive, uplifting music, mostly love songs and that kind of thing, or songs that are just happy. That you can feel the vibrations in a song too. If they're talking about the things they talk about in rap, like violence, money, that's one thing. But you can also just sense into the song. If it doesn't have lyrics, let's say, just sense into the song and see what does that feel like? Does it feel happy? Does it feel healthy for you? Or does it feel kind of heavy and harmful almost, or a poison? Does it feel like medicine, or does it feel like a poison, right? And this is all relative, For someone who's kind of high up in their vibratory journey, then a death metal concert, or a Walmart might be pretty heavy for them. But if someone's just coming out of a depressive phase, or they've been fairly low for quite some time, then maybe going to a Walmart, the vibrations there might serve them. For me, a Walmart is very overwhelming, and that for me it's very heavy to go there. So I try and go to independent stores that are more just relaxed, less heavy. You can feel into these vibrations and these energies, right? So we got the places you go to, the foods, events. Seek out what serves your soul, the vibrations that serve your soul, because like I say, it's already all there. You just need to go seek this stuff out. And I went to a meditation group recently in this kind of mindset of seeking out the high vibrations, and I realized it's this meditation group, even though it's seemingly a high vibration, stuff was off there, right? Stuff was off. I think it's because they've institutionalized everything, the teachings of the guru. They've kind of institutionalized all his teachings, and they've really muddled up the frequencies and everything. So even though it seemed like a high vibration thing, it was all distorted. We have to be careful and mindful and really trust our intuition with these things, these sensing into these vibrations, because stuff can get really distorted. People infuse things with vibrations, and it can all get distorted and everything. So we have to be careful. And so if there's stuff out there that is high vibration, keep doing it, because it serves your soul. It serves you. And if there's stuff that's kind of this doesn't really feel good to me, it feels heavy, then see about letting that go. I quit video games, and that was huge for me. I would be sitting there in the chair, getting all sweaty and stuff, playing these shooter games, and getting all this cortisol, adrenaline in my system. And I can tell you that was not serving me. That was really I'm pretty sure like I have trauma, PTSD from, you know, sitting there playing these shooter games, being in these like fight or flight situations, because, you know, I'm a sensitive soul. You know, the brain doesn't know what's real and what's not. So if you're in there in these like, you know, life or death kind of situations that are in these shooter games and everything, then that's going to be traumatic. And that was very heavy for me, very low for my soul, for my own frequency. So it's like I was playing video games since I was like 7 or 8 or something, and you know, I got into the more heavy stuff like shooter games kind of later on, and that was just not serving me, right? Same with adult content. That stuff is really like poison. It's really low down stuff, and I was doing that also, you know, for 10 years or so, all throughout my childhood, because I needed to escape and I needed something to cope with. So that's what I went to, is you know, this adult stuff, and then video games. Those were my two things, and those were really low. Those were, I mean, you know, like that was the only way I had to escape from the trauma of that time frame, was those two things. So they served me at the time, not in a good way at all, but it was my only way out, right? And so they were very low for my soul. And so, you know, when it was time, when I was able to, I released them, because I realized that they were not serving me, the vibrations were not serving me. And so I let them go, and then I chose, you know, I started meditating, I started going to the gym, I started journaling. I started choosing these high vibrations, and I started healing too. You know, it's kind of synchronous. As you heal, you naturally choose high vibrations, and as you choose high vibrations, naturally you heal, right? And so we just have to be really mindful of what's going on around us, what's in our life, right? These vibrations are so powerful, and they can either like heal you or harm you, depending on, you know, how, like I said, how boundaried you are, and how accepting of the healing you are too. That's a big thing. A lot of people are scared to heal. I know that's a thing that I have too, right? Healing is scary because we've been comfortable in the fear and in our trauma body for so long. It's familiar, it's comfortable. You know, the ego doesn't want to lose control. So healing is scary. But when you're ready, you know, you choose these high vibrations, you let the low vibrations go. And then stuff just kind of unfolds naturally. Once you realize that, like, this stuff is either medicine or it's either poison. So just choose the vibrations that serve you.